So I've got this isometric view open, which we opened with the house button, and that created the view. But now, I wanted to show you how to make some extra views that are also isometric views, but at different angles or in different directions. So to change the view direction, you've got the view cube up here, and by clicking on the corner, notice when I move the cursor around the top of that cube, it's going to highlight the edge in the middle and then the corner. As I go to each corner, you'll get that little part highlighted. And notice how if I click on the corner, it goes around in perfect isometrics. Back to the beginning. If I get the edge in between the corners, it's like an angled elevation almost. Probably not that useful for this building, but the corners are good for isometrics. And another way of changing the angle of the view is to hold down the shift key and hold down the wheel on the mouse. So remember, you hold down the wheel to pan, just like AutoCAD, but then with shift, it orbits when you pan. Yeah, so that's a really handy shortcut. And so you can get any angle you like. And this is what you'll find you do constantly when you're working on a 3D model in Revit, just to get a good look at it from all different sides. But I don't want to have to always do that. I want to have some views set up at different angles, and I want to be able to just open those quickly. So over here, you can see in the project browser, we've got this category 3D views. I'm going to right-click on that view, which is just under, it's 3D in the parentheses there, the funny angled brackets there. When you right-click, you can rename that view. And I'm going to call it View 1. And then I'm going to click on the house again. So notice how it's made a new view with the original name. I've got View 1, and I've got a new 3D in brackets. So that's good. Now I want to make another view. So what will happen if I click on the house? What do you think it's going to do? Do you think it's going to make a new view? It did just a minute ago. So why wouldn't it do it again? Well, this is where it's not logical. If I click on this, it actually won't make a new view because I've got a view with the original name. This is the part I said, you just got to get used to it. Once you get used to it, it's pretty straightforward. You need to give that a new name. So again, by right-clicking on that view, it forces you to give your views good names. If I go to, again, just choose rename there, and I'm going to call this View 2. Now watch what happens if I click on the house. Then I will get a new view. So that's the first step, just knowing how to make new views. 3D views are a bit different to other things. So you need to give your original view a different name. Yeah, and then click on the house again. Yep. And so then you should just see a new name. Don't worry if it doesn't look different. It'll probably look the same. So mine look the same at the moment. I haven't changed the view. They all look pretty much the same. So don't worry if they're the same, as long as you get a new name over here. So I'll just show you one step and then one more step, and then I'll come around and look at any issues you've got. So at the moment they are showing me the same thing. They're different views, but it's not obvious until I change one of them. So I'm going to make this view using, I'll just use the cube here and click on one of the other corners. So I'm going to make this view a different angle. Now, when I go to the new view, it's obvious that they're different. So they remember the angle of the view. If I change this to something else again, to a totally different angle, now when I switch between them, they have different angles. So you need to make 4 views, and I'll give you a minute to do that, and then we'll look at shading as well. So once you get the views, just have a look at this button. This is the last thing I'll show you before giving you a bit more time to work on this. try the different graphics modes there. So just make sure you know this button here. It's the third button from the left. You'll see it looks like a cube. And start with wireframe, go to hidden line, shaded, and just try those different graphics. And you'll see that they get stored along with the view direction. So coming back to these other views, you can see they all have different graphic settings. And so very quickly now, I'll just finish off and make those last two views. So view 3, and then again, click on the house, right click on that view, and call it view 4.